As we age and spend more time in business or with other people, we may find that everyone has a different preferred communication style, or dare I say, different personality types. And this is, I think, really important for us to understand. And this really has allowed me to build my business to what it has been so far, and it helped me make my first $100,000 as well. Hi everyone, my name is Kin. I run a company focusing on corporate training, on business consulting, and employee engagement. We have worked with more than 10 multinational companies and more than 2,500 employees across 15 different countries. And I feel that when I was starting out, what really helped me was the recognition that everyone has a different personality. And what that translates to is that when I'm pitching with different people, that I have a different approach. So there are some clients that I've met who prefer a really methodical way of pitching. So we meet, we exchange our courtesies, and then they want me to share about what I do, the clients I've worked with, my background, the testimonials I have, and so forth. It's really a professional and methodical, I really think, systematic way of pitching. They don't really want to know anything extra or anything less. They want what they want, and it could all be seen as almost like ticking the boxes. You know, I do the small talk, I catch up with you, I then share about the company and so forth. Some clients, however, are a little bit different. There are pitches that I've been to where all they want to know is about myself. Now, of course, the industries would differ and different clients would have different things they're looking for depending on what you're trying to purchase. In my case, I'm selling a corporate training or a learning service, so it matters to some clients that they know who I am as a person, as a trainer, for example. So they would then ask about my education background. They'd ask about my interest. They would perhaps ask about my communication style, my training style. They would ask about the way that I would speak in a public setting. They would ask how I address questions from the crowd and so forth. In which case, I don't really have to share anything about the company because all they want to know is about who I am as a person, presumably because they're trying to gauge if their employees would jive well with my personality as a trainer. And that's totally fine. In that case, you really have to just go with that and share who you are. You don't really have to rush into saying, oh, by the way, this is our offering and so forth. And of course, you do that when you see that there are additional business opportunities. But if this is the first time that you're meeting the prospect, I think there's no need to rush because it's important that you cater to their communication style so that they feel that you're someone that they're comfortable speaking with. Now, I've also met other clients, aside from the methodical way and trying to know me way, who are really visual. They don't really want to speak with me. All they want to look at is videos and photos of what they think are evidence or proof that I've worked with other clients. So in that case, I don't really have to speak. After we exchange courtesies, all I have to do really is to show the videos and the photos that we have in our company gallery, which often is our company Instagram page. And that itself is sufficient to give them confidence. Once they're okay with the video, then they would maybe ask a little bit more about logistical details. But to get the first foot in the door, you need to have those visuals first. Because maybe they think that they would want to witness proof that you have worked with their competitors or other clients from different industries, for example. So in that case, you really want to go with that as well. Because I've made mistakes myself where when clients requested for videos, I say something like, oh, let me first share about this before I show you the video. Now, if you have a strong rationale for doing that, then go ahead. But I think especially if it's the first time that you're meeting a client, as much as possible, you want to make them feel comfortable. So show them the video that you want to watch and you share whatever you want to share later on. The final type of client that I'm able to remember that I did write down is a client who, what I would call, is just concerned about the vibes. So they share with you about personal chatters. They share with you about what they did over the weekend. They share with you about their interests, the difficulties they face, the goals they have, their habits, their hobbies, and so forth. And I think that there's nothing wrong with that. Again, especially if this is the first few times, or actually no, it doesn't have to be the first time, but with clients, some clients prefer to be a bit more conversational like that. Likelihood is that they're more extroverted in nature. And when you see that, I think you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, This client is not trying to discuss offerings with me. Does this mean that they don't want to have this move on with this deal with me? Therefore, I want to rush into saying, hey, this is the contract, don't forget. No, you don't want to do that. When they are talking about their personal lives, you can also share about your personal lives as much as you're comfortable. And I think that these are opportunities to build rapport. Of course, there may come a time where you have to say, hey, by the way, this is the main point of discussion and this is the purpose that we're having the meeting. But I'd say you don't rush into it and see those instances of talking about personal lives as really opportunities to build relationships, because the more you know about your client, the easier that you're able to follow up in the future, because you don't have to say, hey, I would like to follow up on a deal. You can bring up an interest of theirs, and it makes your messages sound less pushy as well. It also makes you appear more genuine, and you better be genuine because people are good at detecting people who are not genuine. So the message I want to share is that as we move out into the world and pitch to different people, we will meet a lot of different people who have a lot of different preferred communication styles and different personality types. And in the face of that, we want to make sure that we are able to adapt accordingly. We don't want to only have one way of pitching, because that makes us sound really robotic and systematic. And you're really operating on luck, because you're really depending on the fact that a client would prefer your pitching style. You don't want to do that. It's a really defensive way of working, I think. You want to be quote unquote offensive or proactive, such that you remain adaptable based on the different people that you meet. But I hope that you have learned something today. As far as pitching is concerned, these really have helped me to build my business and sustain expenses and so forth, and also help me make my first $100,000 when I started out. And if you have found something helpful, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.